Regarding tWoTcast, is that okay?
You then are putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable, but I'll take it.
All right, we are tWoTcast, episode 270.
Shut the fuck up.
Wheel of Time. Reread podcast. Explicit and R freaking rated. Jono's the wild card, always talking shit. Joe's the straight man. He's a total dick. Tom calls in if he's not too busy. We are tWoTcast!
You're listening to tWoTcast, the Wheel of Time read podcast, now covering Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time podcast, covering Book 2, The Great Cunt. I'm Jono. With me as always is Joe.
Hey, Jono.
And frequently, but not always, but most of the time, because that's way too many descriptor terms, Tom.
Study your math, Jono. No, I just say study your math.
And our guest of honor this week is, of course, the one, the only tWoTcast.
Greetings and salutations.
Well, we only need
Interesting.
one. Yes. So tell us, tWoTcast.
Very eloquent for a Trolloc.
Yeah,
I knew the expectations would be very low.
So you listened to our podcast before.
Trolloc Talk was on our episode. I mean, it was definitely Eye of the World. Really early Eye of the World?
Yeah, I covered Narg, man.
Yeah. I guess it was like right away.
I
Yes.
covered the Winter Night chapter.
And now you're coming back for the end of The Great Hunt, which
Full circle in some
deals with Fane's Trollocs in coming out of the ways and just hanging out in the hills. Which
Eating.
I feel like we should talk about like a lot.
Let's see what I can do. I mean, I'm not one of those guys, but they have a reputation.
I bet they got a shit reputation.
It is pretty
kind
good,
of,
yeah.
Not very good at anything.
No.
At least at the.
They're big followers is the problem.
So tWoTcast, tell us about yourselves. Plural, apparently.
I am Legion. I am one and many.
You, of course, run a Twitter company called what? Company of.
Maybe somebody else should do this.
Jono, what are you talking about?
Already.
Am I selling something? Because I'm not gaining any revenue.
You're going to want to check your business. Paid fame to take it over.
Trolloc Talk is just a delightful Twitter of time before there was a Twitter of time Twitter handle that we loved for like the last 10 years or so.
Hello, one man. Tell us about yourselves and your Twitter company.
Yes, my Twitter business is like a pyramid scheme. I gotta
Let me actually tell you about it. It starts with me at the top. Somebody else gets me money. Somebody else gets them money, and they get me more money. And it keeps going.
The more people you get to join Twitter, the more money I make.
It sounds like Charlie Day wrote Jono's introduction for a political speech for Dennis.
It's weird to feel like
Trolloc Talk. So do.
It's strange to feel like I jumped on to Twitter of time long before it was named that, and like it's been 10 years.
It's been a very long time.
I felt at the time like I was late.
No,
clearly.
No. All right, one word answer.
It was just you, us, and Taffy Bennington. No, I don't know. There was Team Moraine. I definitely saw like Sarah and Christy were on there, and a whole bunch of people who fell by the wayside. Honestly, I kind of wonder every once in a while what happened to like certain people. I don't even remember. I can remember like their profile images, but not even their names. And I'm just like, man, I remember that person used to like bounce back and forth with me a lot. We joked and like whatever happened to that person? Like
forgot about that. Yeah, they probably all died. It's a pandemic, in case you haven't heard.
Yeah,
that was dark. Yeah, you made it real, Tom. I was going to make a joke about cook pots and the last battle, and then you were like, "Oh, what about the pandemic? They barely are."
No, but it's funny when it's true.
It's the funny thing as the Trolloc guy. When I have conversations with people, everybody else takes it dark long before I do, and that's fine.
It's just because you're surrounded by death all the time. You want to, you got to keep it down.
You want to enjoy yourself. That's why you've got
even as long as possible, and then get weird.
You get color all around you.
It's all about the laughs.
And also, to be fair, we'd probably be worse if you weren't here. We're holding back because there's a guest.
Yeah.
It would have gotten way worse.
You have a tendency to wax a bit dark, but that's okay.
We've had so many so many guests where I've had to not say so many things that I wanted to say because I know Joe can't edit it out when a fourth person hears it and can just spread it to the world.
That's true.
I never really considered the notion that any of your guests would like rat you out on that. Like, Tom said something terrible.
You said a lot of really bad things that have never made it to the show.
Yeah, that's correct.
I don't cut that.
How do you know where the line is if you don't cross it?
And that's correct.
Yes, yeah.
Now I'm actually wondering if Joe has tapes of me and Jono. He's just like waiting for 20 years from now. He's like, look, I'm going to need all your money.
Actually, on that, so Trolloc Talk, what we've been doing recently is I'll listen to the old podcast to make sure we didn't like repeat something or say something that we're like blatantly repeating now, so we don't double up on what our ideas are. Because it's surprisingly few new ideas coming from these three brains.
Actually, it's also my biggest concern. When I was on back in January, I listened to what you guys had talked about, to like that episode from the first time around because I was afraid of doing the same thing. And this time, I definitely didn't have that kind of time. And every single thing I was thinking a lot, I'm like, it's pretty funny if you look at this way. I'm like, they probably covered that, but we're just gonna go with it.
Maybe
you give us way too much credit.
I mean, I listened, so I'll tell you. I'll be like, hey, we talked about that 10 years ago. John said this. Jono said this.
Cool.
The point is, on that note, Jono said something really horrible. This last episode.
Is that right?
And it was episode 7. So, I mean, really, like, we can't. The line was crossed long ago.
Trolloc Talk, what are you drinking tonight?
Back to normal.
I'm drinking actually a homebrewed brown ale.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
What type of? Tell us the flavors you're getting.
The flavors,
Yes.
roasty and nutty.
Yes.
It's a bit
The
nutty.
malt profile low, I assume.
Yeah, it's like a decently low and nice and drinkable brown ale.
Yeah.
I try to make my beers something that I can have 15 of without getting completely smashed until
And
I
the gravity.
drink something heavier.
What's your alcohol level?
The alcohol level on this actually is I'm trying to remember 5.2.
5.2. Excellent. Well done.
Thank you.
All right. Well, shall we get to it?
Sure.
Let's do it.
So this is our episode covering the Great Hunt, part 11, chapters 33 through 36 of Robert Jordan's amazing Wheel of Time. Trolloc Talk. Spoilers. I don't think that Trolloc Talk's a spoiler. I think that he is the one who...
Trolloc Talk's not a spoiler. You didn't say the spoiler warning, which means we spoil things.
There's a warning.
Entire book.
I was wondering if you were trying to claim whether I was going to spoil anything or not, and I will. Absolutely.
That's great.
Which is fine, because we're a read podcast. But Jono didn't say that, so I'm
This
calling
book
him
has been out for 30 fucking years, and if you haven't read it, what the fuck's wrong with you?
There's a number of podcasts that are non-spoilery out there. Find one of those.
I get that. Yeah. And they're not listening to us. Well, they are, but because we're great. But anyway, take it away, Trolloc Talk.
In short, yeah, we pick up in the middle of the Barthane's rager. Everyone's rocking out and partying, and Huron comes to tell Rand that they found the trail down below, and they do a little, hey, your servant fucked up his leg, blah, blah, blah. Rand follows with him, making excuses that he needs to go check on his twerpy manservant. And they go sneak down into a garden out back, and they find a waygate out back. And then they send Matt and Huron to go get Varen and Ingtar. And then, like a bunch of fucking idiots, Rand and... just Matt, right? They just send Matt back. Then Rand and Huron and Loyal, before they do anything else, decide to open the waygate, which causes... the black wind to come after them, and that doesn't work out so well, so they close the gate again very quickly. Loyal does, after Rand nearly loses himself with the one power, and they decide that was not a good idea. So they decide to get the hell out of there after they go find Mommy and Daddy, Varen and Ingtar. And on their way out, Barthanes reveals himself openly to Rand as a dark friend, leaving a message from Fane, one of the big sort of lines from Wheel of Time. He'll wait for you on Toman Head. And then they head back to the inn, and Varen's kind of dubious about this whole the Black Wind was going after them kind of thing. She seems to think that's a little weird. And then Varen suggests that they go to Steading Tofu and figure out what to do next.
Perfect summary.
All of that was very fast, and also that was great.
Instantly guzzles beer. Good man. Good man.
Yeah.
Right out the throat.
What you don't know is that actually tWoTcast is entirely white bearded until he's drinking this brown ale, which is now staining his entire beard brown, except for 2 spots.
I mean, it's just flowing down his muzzle.
Yeah. That's for all the viewers.
His goat-faced muzzle.
Would you expect to keep it all in my mouth? I mean, no, I'm going to slurp. It's the way it works.
Sound like my wife.
Jesus Christ.
My first question is, are we calling it studying tofu?
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
It's tofu. Mentally, I've always called it setting tofu. Or tedding.
Well, that's why we're doing that, because everybody knows that that's actually how it sounds in your head. So let's just go for it.
Yeah. The S is silent, so it's tedding tofu.
Hey, Charlie, put that picture behind you. Is that the Hitler Youth?
No.
Both S's are
No,
silent.
that's a totally different form of brainwashing on the picture. Okay. Actually, it's kids watching Saturday morning cartoons.
All right.
So, I mean, pretty much the same thing, just a little different. I mean, in the 80s,
pretty much the same thing.
Pretty much.
It's a little bit. It's a little bit.
Like right in like the crux of like the G.I. Joe Transformers era.
Yeah.
It's
That's my era.
pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Back when there were no regulations whatsoever on advertising to kids. Pretty much everything that fucked.
Nor should there be. How are they going to develop a cocaine habit and a coke habit at 12?
Jono, this is half your notes. What's your first note?
Message from the Dark is a fantastic title for a chapter, really. I kind of
your notes go back to the title of the chapter.
Damn right.
Joe, you sound like Seinfeld.
Yeah, I do always get a laugh about the idea that I don't really understand if Rand, as a lord who's clearly so important to us to be invited to this party, should really go like, oh, your servants, hurt his leg. Go check it out all the way at the bottom of the servants' quarters. Pretty sure a lord shouldn't be doing that and shouldn't care.
Yeah, I totally didn't. When I was reading that, I was like, he looked around and like, apparently that satisfied everyone. Like,
yeah.
Did it? Really?
Yeah. Oh no!
If I was the Lord Rand is supposed to be, and somebody told me that, I would be like, "Well, get me a new servant."
I mean, I'll say this: they didn't know he was necessarily going as far as he was down to the servants area. So maybe they thought
That's
he was just going out of the room, because he was just like, "Well, I may as well see."
But what's he gonna do? Like,
he just went to the butler's pantry. I don't know. Maybe he wanted to see how bad it was.
And honestly, within that culture, everyone might have just assumed that he was going to get laid. They might have just assumed this is code for like, I've got your girl.
His servant's hurt, and so is Lady Barbara.
Yeah, that's true.
Open now.
That's like code for legs are spread.
I mean, this is one single chapter after they were literally calling his flute a dick.
Yeah,
not just a tWoTcast joke.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, you hurt his leg, and this lady's got her spread open. That's weird, but all right.
Your manservant hurt his labia leg. Come down.
So that's always weird to me. I thought it was also very funny, by the way, like when Loyal was talking to him, that Galdrian, the king, has stopped paying the Ogier to work on the topless towers, and that's why there's no Ogier in the city.
Yeah. He's spending too much money on those parties.
Well, and this part like struck me.
They're partying every day, John.
This struck me as like sort of the sort of like Star Wars trade dispute sort of kind of aura of Wheel of Time. Where like most of these chapters, as we're like going into the politics of Kyrian, I'm just like, wait, what? Okay, what's the problem? Like, Ogier get paid? Am I supposed to be keeping notes on this?
Like, what do they do?
Just very confused.
Just vaguely Asian aliens sitting on a weird ship, blockading a peaceful world.
Yeah, it's just strange. It's like,
Jono, that's a good question. What do they do with money?
I don't
That's a
know.
very good question.
Like, why would they? We see later on they have Sungwood for trade. okay, well, they trade.
Money can be exchanged for goods and services.
Yeah, so I guess I know what services. Like you need an ideal to be tall enough to blow.
Loyals mentioned the tinkers coming into the steadings all the time to like mend pots and stuff.
Yeah, repair pots.
Yeah, but that's all I can think of though.
Wait, and these are not Ogier who are.
It's not like they have roofs and houses. Like they live in mounds of earth. Like it's not like, you know what I mean?
Well,
credit card bills.
The Ogier who are working in Kyrian, do they have to go back to the steady? They eventually have to go back too, right? Like they're
just accumulating wealth in all the steadings like Smog the dragon. And it's just sitting on a mountain of gold.
Just like sitting.
They're like we're the biggest creatures in this land. I think it's a rule we have to accumulate gold and sit on it. Put it under a tree.
They've actually their whole plan here is to accumulate a fuck ton of gold before they're sent back through that book of whatever the fuck that happens in book 14.
Translation. Maybe they need it. Maybe they need gold to travel dimensions.
The whole point
now they really are a cult.
Gold. Yeah. The Ogier were here to mine all the gold and go back to their hometown. It just took them 5,000 years. It's not their fault. They had it was not their fault that breaking happened, and then they had to stay for a few thousand more years. That all makes sense.
Yeah, maybe on their home world they drink gold and their world is out of gold, so they had to come to our world to get gold to take it back to refill the oceans.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
They shop out all their amazing skills.
They drink Goldschlager? Is that right, Tom?
They just swim through it like Scrooge McDuck. And drink.
And also, yeah.
They're just drinking gold coins like Trolloc Talk's kid.
Yeah.
All right. So we answered that question.
Listen, a young Trolloc doesn't necessarily have the discretion to decide what to eat or not. They just go for everything.
Yeah.
So I do think this is, by the way, kind of a brilliant plan here is that of having Barthanes just build a manor, although you're surprised that someone let him do it where he did, but build a manor around a waygate. Like that's, as far as the Dark One's plans are, considering he knows how to use the waygates now, fucking brilliant, right? Like you come with
you assume he was at the Dark Friend Social and that was his orders, right? Like that's why this sprang up out of nowhere.
Well, it was done well beforehand because it took years to do this.
I mean, yeah, I would think that some ancestor built the manor and then was also a Dark Friend or something.
No, Loyal said when he went through it was a grove.
Yeah,
he had just passed through there
2 years ago.
All right, 2 years ago. Fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so because Loyal's been through here in Carrion. He's been out for 3 or 4 years. So he's been through here fairly recently.
Yeah, I guess it'd be crazy if that was built in 3 months. Yeah. It's not like they have our technology.
But it is a new man. So it's again. So it's kind of a brilliant plan. And that explains why they've only recently learned about the ways. Maybe that's where that was kind of their home base to kind of go in and out and learn shit. Besides the ones that are up in the north.
Interesting, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
So Barthanes was at a previous Dark Friend Social and got some weird orders.
Yeah, a better, probably more exclusive social.
Yeah, somebody of Barthane's stature gets invited to all the Dark Friend Socials.
Wait, just because he's rich, he's high up in the Dark Friends?
That we know that's patently untrue.
Yeah, that may not be. Regardless, he clearly got orders build me the biggest party pad in the land.
Yeah, now that I think about it, he's a horrible Dark Friend. He revealed himself to the first person that came by.
It could be severe.
He just, to me, it seems like he's just loves the great game, and he's like, oh, this is just a great game, one step lower, deeper into the game. He seems so Dark Friend light to me. He's just I'll just dabble in the Satan worship because it's
I get the sense that he's a low-level Dark Friend because
he seems very superficially.
He's a dabbler. He's nothing but a dabbler.
Dabbler and dibbler.
He didn't even understand.
He just became a Satan worshiper because he's idle rich.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Well, I mean, there's two things going on. Idle rich probably is how he got into it, but there's always that maxim about there's no Lord too high who won't bow to the lowest Dark Friend if he's shows the right signs. Yeah. And I suspect that it's entirely possible Barthanes is not very high, but that his station and his money was important for them to kind of no matter what, we have to protect that guy. So we build this fucking palace right at this spot. He's the only one wealthy enough to be able to buy out an Ogier Grove and fucking tear it all down.
Yeah, so they probably approached him and started backing him or getting him into being a Dark Friend because of his wealth. Yeah. They knew he would be wealthy enough to just randomly build a giant manor.
They built the manor from the wood from the grove.
Yeah.
It's an extra insult.
Loyal's just walking around the house the whole time going,
No.
oh no.
This is the lovely room of death.
This is like to skip forward a couple chapters when they're in the Ogre Grove and Matt.
And Matt mentions it.
Matt's like, you could build like so much from just one of these trees. And everyone's like,
it looks like Ace Ventura in the second movie when he finds all those animal heads.
Right?
And he's losing his mind.
No, I'm just admiring your room of death.
exactly.
To have a room of death.
So that's the whole palace. Fucking asshole.
Do you not?
I mean, I do.
Talk about,
no, I don't keep that stuff in a room. Trollocs generally just leave that stuff behind. It never occurs to us it occurs to us, but never for long enough to just keep it in a room. And then we like think of something else, and then we just run along.
You just get one Trolloc involved in taxidermy. That guy would make a fortune.
Jesus Christ.
I feel like Trollocs are walking taxidermy for the most part. Are they not? I mean,
kind of, yeah.
I mean, like the weird, creepy fringe taxidermy. Like, that's really what this is all about.
Yeah, the one where I just wear a suit of flesh.
Is that French taxidermy?
Yeah, sure. I'm sewing it onto my body.
I have a guess about your Trolloc son, too, and tell me if I'm right or wrong since he ate that penny today. Is he half human, half goat?
No, I have yet to reveal what animal he is, but I'll go with not goat. Yeah, no.
So Rand opens the way gate.
So
I love that.
I think it's awesome.
Let me comment on this at first, though, because it's so funny. He's like, go get Varen and Ingtar. Like, it's like the kids. Like, go get mom and dad. Go get mom and dad. I found. And then when he just hops over there, and he's like, yoink. And he just opens it up like an idiot.
When you're reading it, do you think,
go ahead, John.
Do you feel like Rand's capable of doing this on his own? Or like, are you also just like, yeah, go get Varen and Ingtar?
His initial thought process was like, let's open the door and see if Huron can follow the trail.
Yeah.
Which is logical.
It wasn't even that.
Also,
it was Huron's just like, we can't go through there. And he's like, oh, we can. We've done it before. I'll show you.
Let me show you. Yeah. Well, yeah, the last time he opened a waygate,
it's so weird.
Something jumped out at him. But yeah, I think he was getting a little too bold.
In fairness, the last time he saw it, waygate closed, Black Wind. Opens one, also, Black Wind.
If he had waited,
God damn it!
Because Varen and Ingtar don't come; they stay in the park.
I know, there's like no explanation whatsoever.
They're
in
like,
chapter as to Matt's failed attempt to get
Matt
them.
Basically says something along the lines of like, "I told him where it was, and Varen said, if you know where it is, let's get the fuck out of here." And I was like. And if I was Rand, I would have just been like, what the fuck? I told you to bring them to me. Yeah. What's wrong with you?
Especially
you act like you're not my son.
That's an unwritten part. That's an unwritten part I'd like to see is Matt going up to Varen and asking her to come down because they think they found it. And she's like, no.
He probably told her.
Then you're at the Ingtar, and Ingtar like won't even give him the time of day.
Yeah.
It's 3 levels down underneath the servants' quarters. Go outside. Like, no one's going out there, dude. It looks like you're trying to go fuck a servant. We just talked about this. No. You don't do that.
I think he even tells her it's in
no
the
servants
ways.
at the party.
Yeah. I will tell you this. I forget about this being one of the coolest channelings that Rand does sometimes. Like,
it's
especially for book 2, like this massive coruscating fire that actually holds back the Black Wind, which is something that no 10 Aes Sedai have done together. Like, that's some fucking hardcore.
10 years ago that Rand could possibly have destroyed the Black Wind right here if he had kept going.
Well, that's a stupid thing. That's a dumb thing to say.
Who said that? Tom, you're an idiot.
I don't know. Well, it made sense in the.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Because fine.
What would happen if it had gotten out?
I always wonder how far it could have gone. Like,
I don't think we talked about it.
With the entire Black Wind, like, actually exited the ways, or
I feel like
just like
the Black Wind grows, right? Like, as it kills people, like it adds mass. So wouldn't it just like? I mean, I'm assuming because it grew from nothingness, so like it must be getting stronger and bigger as time goes on.
It'd be like a weird.
Or is it because the
would it have consumed the earth?
That's what I'm saying. Does it grow from like consuming things, like people in the ways, or does it just grow from the taint of the ways?
And therefore, like, I mean, technically, they're related because there was no taint at first, and then as it got tainted,
yeah, but the taint's on in and outside of the ways. So like, I know that the ways themselves are tainted, but it's just the
they're made by
men.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like if it got out, it would be real fucking over. Like
it'd be really like a large pinball just echoing back and forth across the land. That's how I kind of feel it.
Do you think all of the White Tower could have stopped that? Because it would have grown pretty big pretty quickly, I think, before they all even like admitted that there was a problem.
If it's possible for that thing to have gotten out, I actually think it would have just consumed everything.
Yep, I'm with Charlie.
I want to say Shan and all their Damani might have had a shot.
But how do you stop that? Like, you've got to stop it at the source because otherwise it just slowly gets wider and bigger. Like, so like there's.
Oh, you mean like part of it is inside the entire time, no matter how much is coming out? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, therein lies the rub. I mean, it's like, is it if it gets out and it's like, because obviously if it gets out some and then you close the gate, it apparently retracts. But like if it's out and it's like hundreds of miles out, is it still tethered into there, or can it fully leave the ways?
I feel like it would be able to fully leave, but maybe I think you have to. Like two-dimensionally, you know.
You have to go to the original Waygate where it got out, cross the streams to cut it off, close that gate, and then
you gotta close the gate.
You have to lead it back into another Waygate, so it's like an endless circle. Here's what I know. I know that it's a really bad rapper. And it's got this whole blood so sweet to drink blood, the blood drips, red, pretty fine eyes. I'm doing this terribly. I have no eyes. If you're in the middle of your rap and you're saying I have no eyes, you know you've sucked at your rapping. Pluck the ash out the head. Grind your bones, put your bones inside your flesh. Suck your marrow while you scream out the world.
You're actually making it sound a little better. If I put a beat behind that right now, you'd sound pretty good.
I was hoping somebody would auto-tune that.
Wait, are you not going to put a beat behind that?
I expect this to be done. I don't have that capability, but
so Talk, I don't know how familiar you are with the Old Tongue. So machin is actually a female term, right? Because like Robert Jono be kind of like male female, kind of like bifurcated like Spanish and other languages, and he mentioned that several times that kind of all female characters were kind of taken from Harriet. They had and so I believe this was something that he would sing to her while she was trading.
Yeah, I have no eyes. I'll pluck your eyes. Scream.
God damn it, Jono.
Watching Joe take himself.
I knew it was gonna be horrible, but like I was just like, maybe he's just gonna say that's what she used to say to him during sex or something. That's fine, but you had to involve her menstruation and
we're just gonna have to cut that whole thing.
That's also what she said.
When she was the Black Wind, she said we're gonna have to cut that whole thing.
Yeah, and that's where this whole thing came from. That's why
so Loyal barely replaces the leaf, and they close the gate. Or unless you guys want to keep talking about Mac and shit here.
I got one more thing about it because when it closes the gate, I'm pretty sure that Machin Sin actually climaxed at that moment.
Yes.
This is how Machin Sin climaxes. The Black Wind shrieked 10,000 wordless howls of agony, slowly giving way inch by reluctant inch. The bulge lessened. Slowly the oozing reversed back into the Waygate.
That feels the opposite. Mine usually bulges outward and oozes outward, and then I, inch by reluctant inch lessen.
Well, that's you.
And then your wife replaces the leaf on her pussy and your dick has to go out?
Yeah, that's correct.
I just like, well, that's just you, Jenna.
I'm glad that my wife at least has a pussy these days. That leaf, I finally figured out where it was.
We can talk about this more in the subsequent chapters with the Portal Stone and the Waygate at Steading Tofu. But do you think it's Fane?
Well, real quick, yes, I think it's absolutely Fane. I think Fane actually communicated, like Moraine actually said that the earlier in this book that the Black Wind came across Fane when he was following Rand on the way to Faldara, and that instead of finding something to prey on, it found something that was both a kind of companion, but also in a way more insane than, because
friends.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, though, that like Fane is not just evil and insane Dark One style.
Well, 10 years ago, Jono, you said he rubbed off on it. So
yeah, that's right. Sense. Yeah, but he's got that Mordith insanity from Shar Logoth, which is almost anathema to the Black Wind, because the Black Wind is created by the taint. And saying some of these things in a very logical way makes me laugh very difficult. It's I can't do my best, but yeah. Oh, okay.
I'd watch that if it was. I'd watch that if it was a weird if it was a weird buddy cop comedy.
just Fane and a black cloud hanging out, like dancing through the park holding hands.
Or it's Fane and the Black Wind and Mordeth, and it's like Fane and the Black Wind and Mordeth, and it's Three's Company somehow.
They're just sitting in the car staking something out. Like, what do you think? I don't know. Let's go in.
Then they come across.
What do you think? And it's like,
I can't hear a word you're saying, Tom.
Mayor for their bones. Like, me too. Let's do it.
Could you guys hear him?
Excellent.
Oh, okay.
Every episode ends the same way.
He's like, me too. Let's do it. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I don't know.
So the last thing I want to say is on this topic is that, like, this, like I said earlier, like Rand's filled with power, like a crazy amount. And then as soon as Loyal saves the fucking day here and closes the gate, Rand goes down to what seems to be a normal amount of power. And like, it really seems like it's the first time, albeit brief, where he kind of looks around and like can see individual blades.
It's 100% the first time.
Yeah, he's like
that he mentions it at least.
Yeah, like this is like his first time like channeling without desperation, and then he claws it the fuck away anyway. But this is all of a sudden him like holding it, just kind of with no enemies around, and just kind of like taking stock, saying like, "I'm high as fuck."
I don't think he like mentions it before this, but I feel like you get that feeling in the end of Eye of the World. Like, he doesn't like flat out say everything slows down and I can see everything, but the way everything's described and the way he's acting,
his pants were crusted.
I feel like, I feel like he was getting that from that. Yeah, they barely survive. Kieran thinks it was Loyal that saved them. Rand agrees, but he means literally. You saved me from getting at least burnt out, probably.
Burnt out.
I don't think he would have been able to like stop himself if the danger wasn't gone. I don't think he would have been able to stop.
Yeah.
Barthane delivers the message is what my next note is.
Correct. Yeah, I love this. First off, we'll go to Tobin Head, which I think that I don't know if we've talked about briefly if Barthanes is like a high level dark friend or a low level dark friend who's just in a high like advantageous spot. But regardless, I think it's very ta'veren that he just outs himself. And again, not that it really matters, but it's definitely not intended really. But I love Rand's dumb, like, light illumine you motherfucker, right? And it's probably the only time that anyone says "God bless you," really, as an insult to a dark friend.
Right.
I kind of like it. It's really funny.
It's there. It's like,
I didn't realize you're as deep in the game as I am. Meaning he thinks maybe Rand is a dark friend or something, and then he's like, "The light illumine you."
No, he knows Rand's not a dark friend.
I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like Barthanes really knows what's going on here.
The thing is, no one knows what Fane is the craziest entrant to this. Like, Fane's already not what everyone expected. So what Fane is doing is no longer like he's the X Factor, right? Dumb show, but he's still there.
Yeah, sure.
And so everyone's got orders, but in this case, Fane supersedes everyone. Right? Myrddraal is supposed to tell the Dark Friends what to do. In this case, Fane's telling Myrddraal what to do. So he's got orders, and this is just upending the fuck out of it. And so, it's just kind of, I think that, all of this is just unparalleledly bizarre.
Well, I think there's just with Barthanes, it's another sign. I still like the theory that he's a pretty low level dark friend, even if he's been in the material world propped up with his position and everything. That he's still and I like the idea that he's basically playing at it because he just because he can. Where he's like, oh wait, tell me more. What does he have? Like he's a child in the middle of the game. And I think that Rand actually might have a sort of sense of that. Like if he's sitting there basically trying to get gossip about it, where, Rand has this very deep sort of respect in a sense for Fane as a serious, significant enemy. And he's seeing this moron like, hey, what's he got? You gotta tell me. Oh no. It's like, really?
See, that seems more like what I'm thinking. That's
the way I'd read it.
That works.
We've changed Jono's mind.
We haven't.
I'm waiting for Jono to say the light illumined you.
The light illumined.
Yeah. Why are we taking fucking cues from someone named Trolloc Talk? Fuck that.
He knows what a low-level dark friend is like.
Yeah, but he also knows how easily wrong he could be and steered by, I don't know, paid in fame, and therefore trying to shrug it off as something else.
Yeah, those guys are idiots. I mean, again, I was not one of those, but those guys are idiots.
When they regroup back at the end.
Well fed, though. Well fed.
Yeah. They are well fed.
They got every day. So they're back at the end. Varen agrees that Tommen Head is the right area to go because of what she may have seen in the Faldera prison, and I don't know, maybe something else that she may or may not have seen in Dark Friend Social.
Dark Friend Social, yeah.
Yeah, but
I think that's maybe more of what it is.
And so they go to Tedding Tofu, which is close.
So she's aware, at least. It must be from the jail cell, right? I mean, not that everyone got the same order. Ingtar has no idea that that's the right place to go.
Yeah, that's correct. What was said on the prison? Yeah, Tedding Tofu.
What was said to her versus Ingtar at the Dark Friend party?
Yeah.
Where did Dark Friend Social? Where did that term come from?
Leaving out the S.
I believe it was probably something on early versions of Dragonmount, something like that.
I think we should call it Dark Friend Party from now on and only play It's a Dead Man's Party every time we talk about it.
I don't think we can afford the rights to that song.
All right, fine.
Especially not 3 times in a row.
Next chapter. Okay, so yeah, this is more this chapter was just my notes are a lot of questions, so I'm not sure if I'll cover the plot properly, but let's do it. We'll do the Tom part and then the Fane part.
Can you do me a favor?
We'll do it after.
Charlie Talk, can you start it off in the form of questions? Like Jeopardy's on right now at 7:50.
All right, chapter 34.
I don't think it's gonna sound like Jeopardy, but it's gonna be like, okay, wait. Having read the whole thing, why the fuck did they kill Dina? And why did the guy say that they worked for Barthanes when apparently the guy worked for Galdrian? Is it Galdrian or Galdrain? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
and
whatever.
Wait, did they work for Barthanes or did they work for the king? Was it just the one work for the one? Did they work for the other? Did they both work for both? Was it mixed loyalties? Why the hell are the granaries burning? When Tom starts talking about trying to kill a guy, does he sound like Liam Neeson talking about his set of skills that he intends to use?
The answer is yes on that 100%.
Why not dress like a chicken?
It's all a little bit mixed up. So yeah, he comes back after Barthane's rager, and he finds Dina dead in bed.
Going.
No explanation.
It sounds already like you really just kind of captured the chapter perfectly, and I'd be fine to just move on almost with just
Let's
like 18 questions.
I would actually be okay if you did your recap, ask questions, and we answered them rapid fire and did it Jeopardy style. Let's try it.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Why? All right, let's go. Why did they kill Dina?
I mean, she was in the room, right? And a witness, and they were gonna.
What did Jono say?
They killed her to
wait. I just realized. Wait, you guys have to do it the other way around. The question is the answer. We're doing this all wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is
Jeopardy style.
This is normal trivia.
This is reverse Jeopardy style. Versus normal trivia.
Also known as question and answer. We fucked up Jeopardy, guys.
Trolloc Talk, you need to say something like, they killed Dina, and then then I would say, who is the assassins in Tom's room? That's Jeopardy.
That's going to take...
It's true. It would be more like, you guys have to answer my questions because I don't know the fucking answers to the questions.
Yeah, so let's all right. We say your notes. Say your notes. We're being idiots. Say your notes and we'll keep going.
Yes. That's pretty much our notes. Tom comes back. Dean is dead. Two guys trying to attack him. He kills them. She has a conversation with Zira that leads to all those questions that I don't understand. And he was about to go off and kill Barthanes because these guys supposedly were from Barthanes. But then at least one of them was supposedly also or instead worked for the king. So he is determined to go kill the king. And he mentions to her that he looks out the window and sees the granaries burning. So clearly this city is about to fall into complete and total chaos. And he tells her to get out. And she's like, yeah, no, I live in Kyrie and this is the way it is. And then he that's the end of it. He's like Liam Neeson. He's ready to go.
No, there's a whole Fane part of this chapter.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just doing that part. Yeah, then we'll do the Fane part. Okay. So Fane gets to Falm. He had a horse with him, and he was thinking about the whiny dark friend who didn't want to give up her horse. That's cool because he fed them to the Trollocs.
What's your name?
Awesome. What's your name?
No, what's your name is what I'm saying.
What's my name? What?
Trolloc Talk.
Trolloc Talk.
And how excited you are to eat this bitch.
He just expressed his excitement, and then you interrupted his train of thought with a weird question.
I did not see his erection on camera.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't realize I was supposed to show my erection just for the sake of Trollocs eating, which we do all the goddamn time. The best thing about eating people is when you can eat people to scare other people, knowing that you'll eventually eat those people. Nonetheless.
Yeah, you want the meat to be gamey.
Yeah, these Trollocs, again, are a little bit wacky. But I'll get into that. But let's to finish the recap, Fane goes to see Turak. He thinks that he's going to basically get Turak to blow the horn and cause total chaos and war. Here, it doesn't go quite as he likes, but he's okay with that. Turak surprises him by opening the chest, finding the horn and the dagger. He's like, yep, cool, yoink, these are mine. Fane kind of talks to him a little bit more, impresses him with his knowledge of sort of like who the Shan are, what their relationship is to this continent. And he then at the end sets up Rand and his buddies as the bad guys who are teamed up with Trollocs, following them. And he thinks that they're just like a day or two behind, but that's probably because he doesn't quite realize how much of a trap he set for them with the Black Wind.
Perfect.
We keep forgetting to say the chapter title. It's called The Wheel Weaves. It's a Tom and Fane chapter.
Title. Never heard this title. Never heard anything relevant to it.
Yeah, no.
Weaves.
Oh, it weaves. It weaves. What am I saying? What way?
This chapter always makes me sad because like you first start it and you're like, oh, it's Tom Maryland. Like maybe Tom having just seen Rand, just earlier that night. Like maybe it's about to join up. Not at all. Not fucking at all. Instead, he's going to start. Are we still doing Jeopardy?
He starts.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do the questions.
All right. So, we're not doing it. We're not going to do this Jeopardy style. But my first.
Yeah, we're just going to do it.
Answer your questions.
We're going to do it rapid fire.
Why did these guys kill Dina?
All right. Don't all talk at once. Jono goes first. Tom goes next. I'll go last. Go ahead.
It doesn't seem okay. Well, and what is that? Doesn't seem. I think just because she was there and she didn't have information, she probably struggled like a woman does, and then she bled out.
Yeah, but they said they weren't there to kill anybody. They're like, we're just coming to ask questions.
She bled out from the stab wound.
I'm assuming that a lot of the answers to these questions has to do with the fact that I'm actually believing anything these fucking idiots say. But
very bad Trolloc.
Yeah, well. These aren't actually evil dudes. They're just bad dudes. So I just assumed that they were like,
Tom, what's your answer?
Knife through his throat. I thought he was telling the truth.
My answer is they're there to kill Tom, and they were to get answers from him, and they were going to kill anybody that was in the room or came into the room until he showed up. Probably
legit. Okay.
My answer is just she's just in the room. That's it.
Yeah. Had it come.
I don't even necessarily believe that they were there to get information from Tom. I think they might have just been there to kill him.
Maybe they're firm believers
that torture, women kill him and get any information they can, but just kill him.
Torture, kill.
Maybe
probably.
They really don't believe women should be gleaming. They're just like, no.
They're like, that's a mess.
Only male Ghostbusters.
Not on my watch.
Yeah. Melissa McCarthy did this to herself.
Ghostbusters.
I think actually, now that you guys are mentioning it, I do remember Tom and Rand at the end when they were talking at the party in the previous chapter. There was a little bit of conversation about how Tom's like, "Oh shit! Well, now I'm getting wrapped up in this again, so everybody sees me talking to you." So maybe that's it.
He even talks about that in this chapter. He was like, he's thinking about it. He's like, they asked me too many questions. I talked to Rand for too long. They're asking me about him the whole rest of the night.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next thing is, do they actually both work for Barthanes? Is it that is he like BSing? They work for Barthanes, or they work for the king, and he wanted Tom to think they work for Barthanes instead? Or is it there's just so much mixed loyalty in Kyrian that they kind of work for everybody? Like they're working for Barthanes, but Xena points out the one guy's like, oh no, he's totally
Tom has his hand raised. So.
Yeah, but I'll answer your question with a question. Who are they trying to fool? The dead girl they killed, or the guy they're going to torture and kill? Why lie about it?
At that point, it was the guy who was about to kill him. So I mean, maybe he was just going for like one last little.
Yeah, but again, I really think he was basically saying anything to not have Tom murder him.
Yeah.
So
fair.
One of my points. Yeah,
he's like, we didn't come here to kill anybody, but clearly they did.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, obviously Zara blatantly knows that dude works for the king, but does he also work for Barthanes? We don't know for sure, but I would probably say yes. I bet they all work for just whoever will pay them money for whatever information they have.
It's a very Kyrian thing.
I'm going to go with the opposite. Like, first off, I feel like competition there at the top between Barthanes and Galdrian is so intense, as opposed to like, you could be Barthanes or Galdrian and like someone several levels down, like, fuck it. But that's 1 and 2. You don't work for both 1 and 2.
So you think he was sticking to the lie that they are Barthanes men, even when he was being threatened with death?
Yeah, because it just seemed, but apparently everyone knows he worked for Galdrian. It's like, oh, okay, well, fuck off. But to me, one of my favorite things about this is like the dude's response, like having a knife in his throat. His response is like, "Why'd you kill my fucking girlfriend?" Is the great game. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's not very good writing, nor sensical. That is just dumb. Like, why'd you kill politics? Like,
it's a little too self-aware.
Again, she was there.
Yeah.
But the actual way he said it is like a little too.
It's okay. It's politics.
I think that just means it's not personal. That just means it's not personal. It's business.
No, I mean, I think that's exactly what he's saying, but it just seems a little on the nose to be like, the great game. Is that how people like? I mean, you think of like Kyrian is based off of like, the certain period in France when, Louis the whatever had Versailles and everything. And there's all these people scheming and everything. And I never had any sense, not that I studied, the history of France.
I know you're talking about Louis or whatever.
Yeah.
Louis, the guy from the song.
I don't get any sense that they all had like a name for it and they would like name drop it explicitly, like, haha, this is what we're doing. It seems to me like the type of thing where
that is weird.
It's like you kind of don't say what you're doing, right? Like you don't call it by something. You're like, that's what we're doing.
Call it politics. Especially, again, you just killed this dude's girlfriend. What do you think his response going to be? He's like, I didn't kill her. It's political. All right, well then here's politics. It's
and the guy clearly thinks he's going to get away with this. I mean, he's like he's trying to offer him money. He pulls a knife on Tom.
Also, his bargaining. It doesn't need. It's the most it's not at all necessary. But his bargaining is like, what about for 1 gold mark, 5 gold marks? I bet there's 100 gold mark. I may even give you some of my own money. Just don't kill me. He's like, you know what? You should have started with 100 and then fucked off, because 1, 2, 3, 5, 100 is not very good. Just die. Like, you fucking suck at this.
That's why.
I have a question. Dina mentioned knives and knives being made and her picking up her knives in previous chapters. Does she have them yet? I don't remember when they were getting picked up. Wouldn't that be horrible if she was like, if only I had, no, fuck. And she was dead because they didn't have their knives yet?
Probably. But most likely they, like the thing is this, like, I will tell you this. One of the things that we should have mentioned is how awesome Tom Maryland, even on his limpy leg, which I agree with, like he hears one fucking noise and instantly turns around, hurdles a knife at the cabinet, hurdles another one, pivots off the wrong way.
And when he misses, he hits.
Like, he's fucking nuts. Like he goes.
He's like, it didn't go into his throat like I planned to hit him in the shoulder, but now I get to ask him a question.
Not only that, hit him in the shoulder that had a weapon. He made the guy drop the weapon.
Yeah.
So the answer is don't throw a surprise party for Tom.
Definitely not. He's the guy. Fucking knives everywhere.
Right into his eye?
You're like
so
6 dead people and a knife and a cake.
We've had a long running joke on recently that all the Carheenan should be played by Tom Cruise. And then I was just because of height. And then I was laughing reading this because I remember he's holding the knife like an inch from the dude's eye the whole time he's threatening him. See, Jono said throat earlier. That's incorrect. It's eyeball.
Yeah, it's the eye.
And then he jams and then he kills him by sticking his throat or his knife right into his eye. And all I could think about was Mission Impossible 2 when that knife is hovering above Tom Cruise's eye.
I kept thinking about Mission Impossible when you kept asking, like, does he work for Galgian or Barthanes or Galgian or Barthanes? I'm like, this is some real Tom Cruise shit right now. I forgot we were in Carheen still.
Everyone's a suspect.
This explains everything.
It's all Mission Impossible.
That's the guy. That guy works for Galgian, and then Tom pulls a mask
does he
off.
have
And he's
the
like,
necklace,
no,
or
that
does
guy
he
works for
want the necklace?
Barthanes, and he pulls another mask off. And he's like, oh, he works for Galgian.
I actually work for Barthanes and Galgian.
I mean, I feel like Robert Jordan was trying to sort of give that impression with this short half a chapter. Like, let me just show you what it's like with like people trying to kill each other and everything, and like, you know, loyalties lie all over the place. Like, this place is crazy. But it does read as a little bit confusing to a certain extent.
I just love that it's one of our last scenes in Carrion, and we get a Tom Cruise dance scene.
So what sparked off the riot?
Yeah, I wonder that too.
I suspect it was a combination of the fire from the Illuminators kind of making unrest. Because if you remember, the whole point is these guys are getting the whole point of how Carrion has stayed where it is Galgian has been paying, you know, food to come upriver, been paying Ogier to kind of like put back things to normalcy, and like the nobles try to stick to their own shit.
He's been paying for food for all the Foregators who shouldn't be living there because they're too scared to go back
to their
to the Dragon Wall because of the Aiel War. And he's been paying for food and parties and shit and like nonstop for like 20 years.
Yeah, and I think it's
and then he couldn't keep paying the Ogier to build the tower, so clearly he's running out of money. So I'm thinking maybe the party just stopped.
I think that that's the reference to France, right? I mean, it actually strikes me as the whole like the whole French like.
I think that's exactly what it is.
It just grew organically.
Yeah,
it's just kegs empty. Get another. There are no more. Burn it all down.
There's no more kegs? Burn it to the ground.
Makes no sense because we find out later on that the first thing that's kind of caught on fire is what? It's grain. What do you make beer out of? Grain.
Oh, they made a huge mistake.
Grain.
Yeah, they fucked up.
Can you imagine if you went to somebody's house for a party at like 6 p.m. and then you're just drinking free alcohol all night till like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then the booze ran out and you just burn their house down?
I mean, that's what I do.
That's what Trollocs would do.
I've left many a party that way.
We would probably just eat everybody. You're like, the hors d'oeuvres are out. We gotta make some more.
There is no more.
Of course, you'd have to start a fire for that.
I answered that question.
Fane and Turok the dinosaur hunter.
Last thing before this is, I love the fact that we've already got kind of the seeds for a civil war, which is just Barthane's dead, which is probably going to make it look like Galgian did it because no one suspects anyone but number one.
Right, and he's dead.
Oh, hey, back into the questions.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Who killed Barthanes?
I believe it's a golem. I think nothing else says.
Oh yeah.
So who sent the golem?
Ishmael.
But why?
I mean,
he helped Fane?
Yeah, everybody's against Fane.
Part of Ishmael's. So it's a punishment. It wasn't like we're done with you. It's like okay.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. I kind of thought maybe it was like a land fear.
Land fear also makes sense because she skins someone else a few books later.
Yeah. I thought it might just be like a land fear blows him up and puts his head on a spike because maybe just because girls were flirting with Rand at his party. It could literally be that's it.
Actually, a good point.
It's another one of those little mysteries that I feel like Robert Jordan was like, well, no, it's obvious from what I wrote that it's clearly this.
Yeah.
And we're all just like, no.
And it's like 40 years later, we're like, wait a minute.
Well, either that. I mean, either that or he wrote it and he was like, no one's ever going to wonder who did this. It's just a thing that happened. And then little did he know.
He did not anticipate
decades after his death and years after the last book, we're like, who killed it?
Or it was just like, it was one of your Trolloc friends. One of them just didn't go out, ate Barthanes, and just kind of threw it up and just said,
there's no chance that we'd know this later, is there? Because I don't feel like there is.
No, he's pretty much never mentioned again.
Yeah,
like other than just kind of like Civil War football.
It was just one puppet Trolloc.
I would love to think
one guy didn't make it in.
Any like one Trolloc who could like elevate himself to the skill of death destruction as a golem would be like the most popular Trolloc ever. Everyone would feel like
all the Trollocs would be friends with him.
You're like, he's the coolest Trolloc there is, man. He blows shit up like a golem.
Anyway, so this is the perfect background for what actually happens. Like it's the beginning of the Civil War, both with the granary being fired, and then secondly with Tom now just saying fuck it all and goes to kill Galdrian, the king. And like you could not be like Rand always feels bad about it later on because just being in this Tavir and this sweep kind of does it. But it sets the scene perfectly for him to come in a couple of books and walk over it with no fucking there's no like resistance other than really the Aiel.
That's true. Also, whenever we see Tom again, I always forget that he did this. It's such a very subtle it's in your face in the chapter, but it's very it's not like they show him do it or anything like that.
Well,
and then you don't see what happens to carry it until way later. And you're just like, I'm like, wait a minute, what? I think I remember doing the podcast the first time and Jono being like, oh, Tom killed Galdrian. I'm like, he did? I'm like,
I completely missed it my first time through. I did not even understand because he does say it, and then a million other things happen.
He blatantly says it.
Yeah,
it is weird. It is weird that one of the main characters of the series kills the king of one of the biggest countries. They're like, that'll happen off page.
Yeah.
Right. And no one blames
his last line is like, "I'm an old man. Who am I going to hurt?" And then it's like, I don't know, probably a lot of people, and then a king.
Yeah, also, I have a question. If he can kill Galdrian so easily, of course there's a train coming, but fuck it.
Tom just says, fuck it. I bet he doesn't even want us to wait.
Yeah, he does. All right, Trolloc time.
Yeah,
I guess so. We're all ready to go to the next Fane part.
No, we're in. He already said the Fane part. Let's go.
I know. I just remembered.
Damn it, Jono.
You drink a lot. So I always forget how convenient, and I haven't read the Wheel of Time book that was done by Teresa Patterson with Robert Jordan, that there's actually multiple kind of abandoned settings everywhere because it explains how it is that he goes from Barthane's Manor to some random ass place with Trollocs on the middle of Tome and Head, only a day and a half away from Falm. Because normally if he popped out right by some fucking Ogier with a bunch of Trollocs, no offense to you, but they would probably raise a fucking alarm.
It would be messy.
Yeah, it would be messy. But instead it's abandoned. So good enough.
Wait, why do you think it's only a day and a half from Falm? What are you talking about?
He says it only took him a day and a half to get to Falm.
He says that? I don't remember that.
Actually, here's what it is. He says that Rand is a day or two behind them.
Yeah, and then he also says he's been there for a couple of days, walking around, talking to people, torturing people, finding out about the Shanshan, and then he wanders into the city. And we have no idea how long he was in the ways. Meaning, when he says Rand's 2 days behind him, he doesn't mean like it took me 2 days to get here. They're only 2 days behind me, meaning like it took me a week to get here. I think this is a jump forward in time is what I'm trying to say. And when we go back to Rand and the next 2 chapters turn to the flicker or whatever, time jumps forward again, I guess is what I'm saying. But I think this is kind of a jump forward to just Thane coming out of the ways. But he's been here for a couple of days.
Well, I guess maybe it's possible. I guess he learned something of these people in his day and a half, and day and a night on Toman Head. I guess we don't know that he spent the entire time on Toman Head. I guess you're right. So he could have landed further inland and then only spent a day on Toman Head.
Yeah, then spend the rest of the time traveling further on foot.
Yeah.
I assume he's been around the area for a little while, though, at least a day or two. Well, it seems like wherever they popped out, he's been making his way to Toman Head, killing people, questioning them about the Shah Chan. But I don't think he's that far from Toman Head, though.
Okay. All right. Regardless.
So we're both sort of the same answer, I suppose.
Tom, there's a train.
I'm inside now.
Wait, by the
way. So he fed a woman to the Trollocs to keep them calm because she wouldn't give up her horse.
Yeah.
And also to keep keep the Dark Friends calm, that they won't be murdered and eaten when he's not around. How many fucking Dark Friends are left? How many Trollocs are left in your brains?
Bring us to the light, or bring this issue into the.
And how long would it be before they just start eating them? Like, because Thane never goes back for them.
I wasn't there, but my view has always been that there were probably the Trollocs. How many did he have before? I always took it as like a couple dozen of each.
I think it was about 50 Trollocs and like 30 Dark Friends.
50 Trollocs, really?
I feel like it was a amount.
I don't feel like it was any more than that. I always had the sense that it was like a few dozen of each. Maybe a few.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That seems right in my brain.
Well,
but Rand's killed
we're talking
one in
50.
the city. Loyal killed one in the city. He killed 3 when they got the horn in the first place. They've killed
killed more than 3. Yeah, so I think that he's down to. I think he killed more than 3 earlier.
Yeah, like
he killed 3 when they got 50, the horn.
He's down to like 35. I mean,
yeah. Also, and so killed a lot of the fucking Dark Friends just for food. And we never see the Trollocs again, really.
They haven't killed that many Dark Friends for food.
Yeah, they killed a bunch.
At least for Dark Friends, he
picks up Dark Friends.
He could be scooping up more along the way.
Yeah, my sense is, he can sniff them out anywhere he goes, and then he just grabs all them all for his purpose. I've always seen it as like Trollocs just have like this ongoing like gravy train.
Yeah,
laughing at the entire time, being like, "Haha, we're all supposed to be getting along, but you're all going to be in our maw eventually."
Let's keep the Dark Friends and just murder innocent people along the way, not like
the Dark Friends mean nothing. Like the only
I know. The real question is what happened. Nothing, but he also sees them as useful because they'll like listen to his orders and shit. Because they've all seen him murder a Trolloc with a fucking nail gun.
Yeah,
murder a Midril with a nail gun.
What happens?
God, John.
What happens to those Trollocs once he goes into
That's what I'm saying. Like that. We haven't gotten that far when we were joking about this in the podcast, so I have no idea what we said a million years ago. But we were joking. This joke has been around for a long time for us, but we didn't talk about it for too long.
That's a spinoff series.
Like this wayward band of Trollocs and Dark Friends. It's like after a while, and you're right. Like how long before the Trollocs are like, yeah, he's not coming back. We're just gonna go ahead and eat these guys. Like,
and how long do the Dark Friends just like stay? How at least 5 of them sneak off in the middle of the night, right?
Somebody's got to bail, right?
Yeah,
I always imagine it. As like the Trollocs are like sitting around them in a ring, just like
just you're not going anywhere. And then slowly we'll eat
them in. Yeah.
And honestly, I've kind of always seen it that way, that it like eventually just became attrition and the Trollocs just ended up like eating them all. It maybe they managed to like fight and kill
whoever's
off
left.
1 or 2. But like I think in the end, and then those Trollocs probably end up just like going their merry way.
I just love the idea of the Trollocs, those Trollocs just hanging out together for the rest of the whole thing. Just like not going to any
don't even
battles.
go to the last battle. They're just
no. They're just hanging out like
why would they?
People in the mountains.
Go find somewhere go find a sheep pen that's self-sustainable. And
they're like, we hung out with Thane for like half a book. I've seen a lot of shit.
We've paid our dues.
I think I just want to, let's just kill some people up in these mountains.
Yeah.
Trolloc Talk.
Fine.
Have you on
What?
book 4 when
What?
maybe actually book 5 when Fane had that, like, devoted army of just beaten down, sad as fuck Trollocs and Myrddraal that are just kind of so resigned to like, well, I guess we're gonna leave the Two Rivers and go back. Like, we're gonna need to have you on to discuss your cousins there.
We can do that.
We'll try to bring Trolloc Talk for every large Trolloc event.
Yeah, the thing that always bugs me, and jumping way ahead since it's a spoiler podcast, I always hate when people talk about how the Trollocs were all gone after the last battle, like they were all killed or something. It irritates the shit out of me because I think that's actually really clear from the books that they're not. Like, these are monsters that are out there, and many of them have been rallied and everything, but like, Trollocs are everywhere.
We're talking about a band right now.
It's just there was a lot of commentary after the when I was on Twitter after the last book, and I would make a comment here or there, and my stupid wisecracks, and every time there's just people jumping all over me. Oh, the Trollocs are dead! I'm like, you gotta calm down.
Not all of them. We're not talking about. There's no Stone of Tears situation with ransom. Like,
yeah,
they're all dead. It's like, no, man, they ran away.
They didn't even all.
Who in the world would think they were all dead?
Stupid people. Apparently.
That's a crazy idea.
Randos on Twitter. I love you, Twitter.
The good guys need something to do after the last battle, right?
Yeah. There will always be monsters.
I feel like it's kind of obvious. I mean, again, what happens at the end of the Age of Legends? They don't all fucking die. What happens? They don't all fucking die.
I mean, I imagine they all die eventually. They're hunting.
Yeah, I mean, eventually.
They all die out.
You've got people hunting them down and shit, but they don't all die at the last battle. That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, because it's not like everyone dies who's connected to the Dark One. Like, that's not the point here. The point is he's sealed away in a very authoritarian.
Right.
With this,
I like the idea that our little band of Fane's Trollocs that hang out in the mountains of Mist and just eat mountain people for the rest of their lives are the last to go.
Yeah, I'm all for that. They have like a whole village. They like actually develop even more of a culture.
They sneak back up to the Blight and get a few women, bring them down.
Man, I'm telling you, Trolloc women are hot.
They know their ways. They might do it. Okay, let's get to Turok in the chest and Thane.
So let's talk a little bit of the juice. I mean, I get kind of amused with not to jump on you guys' structure here and everything, but I get kind of amused with Fane going in there and he's like, I'm gonna manipulate this motherfucker, and he like is in this chest, and the chest is all like really nice looking. He's like, ooh, this is a gift like fit for the Empress herself. And Fane's like, yeah, I mean, if only somebody could learn how to open it. I mean, if you help me eventually.
God damn it! Yeah.
And the guy's like, boink.
That's by far my favorite part of the chapter.
Oh yeah, he's like, oh, do you realize what you have in here?
Yes,
oh my God,
I think, and I realized it's mainly because I just fucking hate Fane, and every little like barb at him is like amusing to me. So when he's just like, I have this thing, and as soon as I figure out to open it, you'll be the first to. Oh, you opened it. Okay,
all right. Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, it doesn't even bother me that he like bounces right back from that, because that's what Fane does. But it's just like a nice little gleeful moment of just like, fuck you.
It's a briefly just humiliating but amusing moment.
Do you guys like Turok? I really do, and I don't know why.
Turok.
Yeah,
maybe
Turok,
it's
Dinosaur Hunter?
Yeah, of course.
Like, he has done nothing wrong other than just being, an odd, noble that people understand. But honestly, he's good to the people. Like, he's, like, not good, but good enough for a Shan-Chan who's a slaver and all that. And, as a Trolloc, you can't fucking respond.
He's like a cool villain, but he's not really evil. I mean, the slave.
Yeah, he's not evil.
Yeah,
he's definitely one of the like good guy villains that you would find along the way. Like where you could just be like, well, let's just ally instead of fighting, and they're like, oh, okay. Like, if he had survived the last battle, he definitely would have been one of the. Yeah, true. If he had survived the last battle, he would definitely have been one of the Shan-Chan that's like, oh, let's just fucking join with them. We'll fucking kill all these evil pieces of shit.
I agree.
I also love his just sense of boredom with everything. It's kind of like, well,
yeah. No, he definitely entertains me. I think he came on this like as the Forerunner guy, as the like leader in charge of the Forerunners. I think he came just because he was fucking bored.
Yeah.
Because he's like, The fucking Empress loves Tuan. Like, I've got no chance. Like, I'm just going over here. It'd be way more fun if I just go over here.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, he fully buys into their system of governance. He's like, yeah. I'm into it. Here we go. This is my job.
Why
I'm doing
not?
it.
All you do is you get rich as shit. You got some fucking naked sluts dancing for you. Like what's to be?
Whoa! What makes them slutty, Jono? Fucking
the money, the fact that that's their job. Okay, we'll call them naked.
They're enslaved.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, is that better?
No, it's not better.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, either way, that's the answer. They're either naked.
Jono go with the whole like, well, the slaves are into it thing.
Yeah, the slaves are fine with it. Just like in Warrior of the Altai.
Yeah. Again, he's channeling. Robert Jordan is channeling peak Robert Jordan.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Warriors of the Altai is not peak Robert Jordan.
Peak Robert Jordan is, of course, that does book about fucking in Charleston.
10 years ago, Jono said he likes when Turok says, I've seen chess like this, but never this fine. And then Tom said, I've seen women like Lanfear, but never as fine. And Jono said, I'd like to open one of them up. And Tom said, who wouldn't? And that is the most important thing of all.
I'm assuming when you say you want to open one of them up, you mean one of the chests.
Why are we even doing this? We really did it right the first time.
Apparently we did.
Surgeon over here.
I don't remember it, but apparently we did.
Yeah. I do like the quick pieces of world building that happen here for the Shan Chan. Like a little bit more. Like we've got Seekers. We got a little bit of there's
some cool information said about them.
Yeah, Kane drops a nice little bit of exposition with his little like claim of loyalty and the made up story about how his family's been passing down this chest all these years.
Yeah,
like
I really like
all
when
of that is
you know
like
what
good
this
information.
Is? And he's like, it's the Horn of Valere. And then the other guy in the room is like, oh. And then he tells his little story.
He's pretty good considering the fact that Fane was dead. Well, I mean, I'm sorry. His predecessor was dead for 1,000 years before Arthur Hawkwing ever walked. Like he kind of like does a great job.
Yeah.
Like, just kind of pulling that together.
I mean, not bad.
It's like quick book report.
Yeah.
The other guy in the room that was amazed with that it was the horn. I was actually rooting for Fane there. I'm pretty glad when that guy does.
Oh yeah, I love when he does. And also, you should never have slapped Fane in the face. That was pretty stupid.
Yeah, you had that coming.
He does already have his death planned out, so we're set.
Yeah,
does Turok give him the dagger right here, or does he hold it still?
No,
he's still holding it now.
Oh, okay.
He's like, I might give it to you eventually. I don't really care about it.
Yeah. I just didn't know if he gave it to him.
I'm gonna go grab a beer.
No, I don't think once it goes on that stand. Once it goes on the stand, I don't think anybody touches it again until Matt grabs it.
Yeah. I thought that's what happened, but I was like, I feel like maybe
that's correct.
Yeah. I just love how Fane can barely control himself, like grabbing the dagger out of Turok's hand when he picks it up.
Go get your beer.
I like how Turok just like nods his head a little bit, and then there's like 4 people in the room with a bunch of different stands, so he could choose. Like the Shanshan unwritten language thing is like peak effect here, where he requests a buffet of stands for a horn, and immediately have them produced.
Show me 17 stands. All right, I like number 16. Leave number 16.
How big is their storage closet that's just filled with a variety of stands?
I mean, they were there back fast. I mean, it's like, they seem to have them right on the other side of that.
He brought 17 ships filled with stands
for horns.
Just for
anything. They would never have lost the upcoming battles if they just brought soldiers, but they would never have had the cool
instead
effect.
of stands.
How's this one, my lord? Get that out of here. This one?
Yeah.
Nope.
He told one servant,
like 5 hours
make sure you bring a stand that can fit. Make sure you bring a stand that can fit anything that we might find over there, which is basically an alien planet. He's like, well, I guess we're bringing all of them.
I guess we're bringing them all. We're gonna need a lot of extra boats.
They scoured an entire Shanshan city for like stands. Everybody bring your stands. We'll put them on the stand.
The whole next fleet of boats is all stands.
And think of what other like useless shit he must have brought along with him. Then it's like we have a bunch of bins and boxes.
That's the first order of business when they took over Falm too. Was like go to every house in this city and bring me every stand they have.
I'm gonna have a lot of ornaments.
It's like, well, I have a coat hook. Good enough. Bring it.
Why the fuck does he think Rand is 2 days behind him? If he set Machin to stop Rand or to fuck with Rand, or did Machin just do that because it's like got like Fane in its mind?
If you look on encyclopediawot.org, the footnote there actually says that he did not know. Now, how they knew that or how they came to that conclusion, I'm not sure, but I do buy it. That he made friends with it, and he doesn't know that he imprinted his hatred for Rand and his.
Oh, so when it's chanting Althor, he has no idea that it does that.
Yeah, he doesn't. He did not teach it its rap. It came up with the rap on it.
Right. Well, and also, you know how Fane's a bloodhound for Rand? Do you think the wind is also a bloodhound for Rand, and that's why it's at both gates?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And that's why parents have to get them. But I think that the further issue that's related to that, I have always assumed that Fane is not really aware of the depth of his powers sometimes, right? Like there's a time when he's just outside of, I forget where it is. It's in book 5 or 4, where he tries to talk to a woman and like he has just fucked up this woman's child, like mind, just beyond belief. And he has no idea what he's done. And I think that's kind of emblematic of his like, weird off and on powers that he can't control and that have accidentally, because these were dark friends, or at least the son of a dark friend. I think that like things that are anyway potentially shaped to the dark, he has this weird kind of like en route for, and therefore can kind of like circumvent their, like, you know, like you're going to do this and fuck their minds. And like, it seems like he's got that power off and on. That's why he can also create like weird images unintentionally. He doesn't appreciate and understand it, but he can fucking do it.
All right. That all tracks. That's what I was thinking. Cool. We're all on the same page. All right. Chapter 35, Setting Tofu. The Rand chapter.
Tedding Tofu.
That's what I said.
So they welcome to their TED Talk. They get to tedding Tofu. They feel all the feelings that come with going to a steading. They immediately meet Aerith, who I'm still not sure, but it seemed like she might have just been hiding behind a tree waiting for people to show up. It was kind of weird. And then there's more exposition about the longing, and then they get to the Ogier town, and then they see some Maidens of the Spear. I'll show up, and they almost have a fight. And then there's a little bit more exposition about how clearly everyone thinks that Rand is an Isle, and they're kind of wondering why. And he looks like them, and he doesn't want to believe it, but it bothers him, and blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, Loyal's afraid that he's going to be married to Aerith.
Yeah.
About it?
It's weird. Yeah. I think it's weird that Loyal's afraid he's going to be married to Aerith when he literally falls in love with the first Ogier he sees since he left home.
I don't think he's actually afraid of marrying her so much as he's afraid of the implication, because it's going to make him stop traveling.
It's because of the implication.
Yeah, I get it.
Tom doesn't understand this because he leaves his wife all the time.
Loyal's worried that Aerith's going to take him out on a boat and he's not going to be able to get back. The boat being the steading.
Yeah.
It's the implication.
It's the implication, Tom.
All right.
Of never being able to go to the outside world again. It's the implication.
Yeah.
Ingtar, I wrote Ingtar is chafing. I guess I'm mentioning how he's like, we need to fight the fucking hard, and he's like losing his mind.
No, Ingtar. No, Joe, what you're talking about, Ingtar fucked some gross chick about like 2-3 weeks.
Oh, and he's just like literally in the saddle.
Yeah, like, he's just like sitting there like, here you go.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, Charlie talks about
get off these fucking horses.
Yeah.
That's why Ingtar didn't go down to the Waygate at the party. He was in the coat closet with one of those syphilitic ladies.
Real quick note that we haven't really discussed, which I guess is sort of important, is how much Matt's dying throughout these chapters.
Yeah, it looks like
I guess we kind of touched on it last episode, but not really. But he's got weeks left, basically.
It's funny.
Rand had pulled Varen aside in the first chapter or something, and been like, what's going on with him? And she's like, oh, he's dying. Yeah. Anyway, I just need to throw that in. Moving on.
Good point, because like Matt's famous for kind of doing one of those, like whenever he makes a joke, like literally tongue in cheek blowjob references, but because they're so hollowed, like it just looks like it just looks gross for our visual podcast.
And then Perrin punches him in the arm and tells him to shut up, and it breaks his arm in half.
He flies across the room like Loki after the Hulk hits him.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's a good thing Baron heals him every night.
And so the tedding tofu is only a day and a half ride away to the east, and like again, it feels like Ogier should be more integrated into society, right? Like that doesn't. Like I know they don't.
If they don't choose to, right?
We talked about this a lot in the last episode, or by the last episode, I mean 10 years ago. But why don't more people want to live like in the setting or like right near it?
No shit, exactly. So Trolloc was right, because of course, his people are disgusting. He's like, well, they don't want to go there because they don't want to be around humans. Makes sense. But humans should sure as shit want to be there. Like,
yeah, why aren't humans just like bugging the fuck out of them all the time?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we've already discovered that they like to hoard gold. Maybe if people show up now, like, where's your gold? And they're like, I don't have any. They're like, get lost, loser.
It could be. Yeah. We don't want no hippies here with no money that like trees.
Even if the Ogier are like, you're not allowed in the fucking steading, I would just build a house like where my front yard was the steading.
Right next to it. Yeah. How can they stop it? There's no zoning laws.
Just walk out and sit on your front porch and be like, fucking the steading.
Another day in God's country.
I feel like only the most granola crunchy people would really want to stay there like all that long, though. I mean, eventually most people probably want to get back to,
To what? They already live in the same situation. It's just not magical. They're out in the middle of nowhere already. Unless you live in an actual city.
If you,
I guess there is a lot of
talking about. Yeah. City.
If you go to a steading and wait for somebody to leave their house to like go for a hike, and then you go into their house, and when they get back and they're like, what are you doing here? And you're like, get out, it's my house. And then they have to have like a hearing about it with the elders. It would take you'd be dead before they ever evicted you.
You'd own that house until you die, because the Ogier would just be talking about it for the next 60 years.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't matter.
It's actually a really good plan.
It seems so, like
it turns out you have a lot of gold in there you didn't know about.
And it's not like they can hide their fucking steading, because I don't know. It feels different when you walk into it, and they have trees that are like 300 feet taller than every other tree.
It's obvious.
You notice that, like, there's a mountain. Weird.
How have we spent this much time on this?
This is all I really want to talk about. We can just blur past the actual points of the chapter.
That's it. There's nothing but just some random exposition anyway.
And has a tree-sung dick, I wrote. That's my important note. Does that make you happy, Tom?
The Isle stuff is very cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Tom, hold on. Joe's point was very important. So Aerith meets them, right? So like we get this thing that like, so voice, Loyal says that like your voice sings, Aerith, which sounds like sung would. And Loyal is smitten, right? So like he doesn't get the longing, but maybe his dick gets longing.
It's literally the longer version of the joke I just said really quickly.
I want Tom to come back to it because he did.
It's not wrong.
Tom rushed right over it.
How much time did you spend on that? Was there a lot of prep?
I do like the note. I do like the note of like how they're acting. Maybe I assume it's the steading and like all their stress just melts away. But they're like acting like they're back in Emmons Field and they're like teasing each other and laughing and punching Matt and telling him how no woman thinks he's attractive and they're just joking about shit. And I'm just like
they're laughing and pushing each other into the bushes.
Yeah, just laughing, pushing each other into bushes. I think it's adorable. And then also I'm just like, oh, that's the last time we'll see this for a while. Or ever.
Or like at all.
Definitely at all.
Last time you guys are going to have fun together.
Yeah, there is,
boys.
there is nothing left. It's kind of a fucked up sentence, but honestly, no one's friends with each other like really after this.
So we can talk about the Aiel, but I really just want to talk about their reaction to the Aiel.
Yeah, I mean, the only significance of their presence is for a more exposition conversation about how Rand looks like he's one of them.
Right. Yeah. Which is funny because, like, why the fuck don't they know that Rand is he who comes with the dawn? They're literally in this side of the Dragon Wall looking for a man that looks like them but is born of this land. Unless they're actually there for Sunwood.
Matt openly.
That's a really good point.
Like, they're like, hey, it's guy that looks like just like us, and he's got a sword.
I think the answer has to be that they were actually there for Sungwood.
No.
Maybe that might actually. Maybe
Aaron
that's it.
said,
Wood or dick?
my foot. My left
Maybe
foot.
that's actually it.
No, it's not, because why the fuck would they come all the way into tech that far in? Like, there's been no.
They're not that far from the.
Yeah, but there is another steading closer to the AO West.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they're still 300 miles away from the fucking from the Dragon Mouth. Like, the whole point, or from the Dragon Mouth, from the Dragon
Wall.
Thank you. Yeah.
So if you believe that they're not actually looking for Sungwood, or maybe they are just by happenstance, but also they're there for He Who Comes with the Dawn. What the fuck? Like, why? Why in the world would you see a dude that looks just like an Aiel man, and then but not clearly not an Aiel?
Maybe he was just turning his head away enough that they just didn't quite notice.
He didn't have a mullet.
Like never looks into the eye.
Like right next to them.
No red tail down his back.
Another question is, if they're like literally on a mission to find Jesus, why do they think it's okay to stop up at the mall to buy some bowls?
Hold on.
I do get the
really
sense that they're like lying. That they're there trying to get intel without explaining why, which doesn't make any sense because the other Aiel are like, we're out here looking for this guy, and they're
they just the other Aiel just blatantly walk up to them earlier.
The implication is that the maidens are like trying to like bullshit it, like, oh, we just want to Sunwood, and have you seen our Lord and Savior?
I'll feel what you're trying to say. Women are dumb, which is ironic considering that they all do go to the mall and they gossip a lot. So, Tom, you're all right. And there's also the point. Makes sense. Even the dumbest man in this company, Matt Cawthon, still even looks at Rand and goes like, "Dude, you're just an Aiel, you dumb fuck. Like, they're looking for you.
Yeah, like, they're obviously looking for you, bro. I'm not even that smart.
Lowest bar gets it. You should all get it." Matt Cawthon,
it just seems a little strange that it's not even mentioned. Like, the second Rand's there with them and they run into Aiel, not one of them says anything about looking for He Who Comes at Dawn, or like, never mind. Anyway,
one of them should have dropped their bowls and just been like, we did it.
we did it.
Found the guy.
Are you busy for the rest of this book quiz? We got another adventure to go on.
I think you might have to just chalk this up to a literary version of the stormtroopers banging their head on the way into the room.
Okay. Maybe it's just the steading. They're just super high from the steading. They're like, whoa,
yeah, man, they're just like, dude, it's so cool. Hey, you look like us.
That guy looks just fucking like us.
Right.
What are we
but
doing?
He's got a sword, so he's out.
I think it's funny how much like people give Rand so much shit about like not the way he treats women, like, and worries so much about hurting them. And like we even see it here. Like, Matt is so much more than Rand is about.
He throws this weapon down. Was walking
to hurt a girl or fight a girl.
It is our first real glimpse into that weird fantasy sexism, which isn't
true. But I think Rand grabbed his sword just like out of impulse, like almost like he's better trained. Even like if he had thought about it for 2 seconds, he probably would have reacted the same way Matt did.
Maybe.
I know Matt was the one who was like, I can't fight them. They're girls. You know, but like,
Matt was like, what are you doing?
But I mean, I feel like Rand would have reacted the same way had he had like less reaction time. Like Matt had the more time to think about it because he didn't react quickly enough, kind of thing.
Yeah, or maybe he reacts
because he's malnourished.
Yeah, because he's malnourished. No, just because Rand's becoming more of a badass.
Yeah,
he's like, fight, okay, sword, and then they're like, what? And he's like, whoa, these are good.
Oh, but I don't have to use it. I've just got it in my hand. I mean, look, let's be honest. Half stops everyone else, so you don't have to attack.
So the whole rest of this chapter is them realizing that women run their lives, whether you're no gear or you're from the Two Rivers.
I love it. It's so funny. It's so funny how like just like dumb Matt Cawthon is. He's kind of like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I'll tell you what, I tell all these bitches what to do. Like, did you see your dad ever do
They're
something?
Like, no, you don't. No, you fucking don't. Did your dad ever do anything your mom didn't ask him to?
Also funny to think about how he later plays Maiden's Kiss.
Yeah. Also, I mean, his dad is the best judge of horseflesh in all of the Two Rivers.
It's true.
Yeah, but once you get the horse flesh, you still have to rub it right.
No, I mean, not necessarily. You just need to know it's good.
He's just good. He's just good at figuring out which horse flesh to buy.
Yeah, he doesn't actually buy them. He just goes
He
buy
doesn't
that
necessarily
one.
know what to do with it after the fact.
Yeah, he just gives advice to the other guy.
Yeah.
Tam, you want this horse?
Yeah.
It'll be a good horse. It'll last you 20 years. This horse.
Meanwhile, on the other side of town, 20 years.
Ridiculous.
That's way too long. I mean, that's good news. On the other
Chapter
side,
36.
Yeah, chapter
Among
36.
the elders.
Among the elders. So they go talk to the elders, which is basically a continuation of the big exposition dump we've already been dealing with from the last chapter.
Correct.
The elders are not really down with the idea of using the ways. They're trying to explain how bad the black wind is. So they bring out Lobotomy Thale. That's his name. Her name. I can't remember.
his.
Yeah. So Lobotomy Thale, they bring him out, and he's basically been lobotomized. That's why he's got the name. Varen somehow confirms that he's empty. Don't know exactly how she does that, especially since she can't channel, but who knows. Then Loyal gets his flower from Aerith, and they convince the elders to let them go ahead and use the Waygate. They go there. The Black Wind is there again. Super short period of time. They immediately close the Waygate. Varen pretty quickly figures out that it's after Rand, and then pretty much Deus Ex Machina from there. Portal stones, yay! And they decide to head off to a portal stone.
That's correct.
Also, you're doing a fantastic job with these summations.
Thank you.
I don't want to get into it on this, but I am excited to see how crazy, because like to me, the middle image of like Loyal's eyes getting bigger and bigger and bigger and his ears twitching and twitching and twitching. I can't wait to see what the fuck they'll do that with that on the show. But you can pay us to listen to our Patreon opinion for that.
That's true. Yeah, save that for Patreon, Jono.
Yeah. Brilliant. I'll be sober and I'll be more conscientious and conscious. That's a lie. It's a big lie. Also,
You're not currently
Tom's
unconscious.
elbow is in the screen, but it's just Tom having left the picture of his ceiling.
It's funny because I was actually just about to comment that it kind of looks like, I can't remember what old 80s rock album there is with like the woman's chest and the cleavage.
These are very straight edge.
Which hairband was that? It's probably numerous, but when you're looking at the other windows on the screen and in the corner of your eye, all you see is
That's
the
true.
weird room. The convergence of the walls. It looks anyway, cleavy.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
It's hard to talk about this chapter.
Yeah, so I love here the Ogier elders. They're so like just dignified, wise, and just kind of like they outshine the Aes Sedai. They outshine Queen Morghese. We don't really see them very often until really the end of this fucking series. There's a little bit of them with Elder Hammond, but they're all of a sudden like these are people who have lived not just hundreds of years, but maybe multiple hundreds of years, like 600, 700, and are some of the most important fucking beings around, the most sentient and capable and knowledgeable. And like that really even gives Baron pause. I think that's really fucking cool.
Something we talked about 10 years ago that we didn't really discuss in very good length in any way was why the fuck the Ogier haven't closed the ways already. Why is that a thing later on with you? Well, you brought it up, Jono. Why Perrin later on is like trying to like run around closing the ways with Loyal, and you're just like, why the fuck haven't they just closed the way? They like know they're fucking evil.
But they strike me as the types who kind of like things as they are, and they, unless they absolutely have to, like nothing's been going wrong, and like, somehow maybe someday they'll get better. So we'll
as long
them for a while.
I guess.
Well, I mean,
Isn't Loyal?
Charlie, Tom, you go first.
Doesn't Loyal make mention of that at some point? Like, I don't know. They still feel like it's some kind of living thing. They don't want to kill it any more than they want to kill a tree.
Correct. And I think that explains what he does.
That's a fucking logical goddamn explanation.
But in book 4, he says that in book 4, and that's why he doesn't, instead of taking the two sets of leaves away, he puts two of them on one side. But Trolloc Talk's point, though, is the correct one, though, and that technically right here, it said, and no offense to your countrymen there, Trolloc Talk, it said that, hey, evil person has been using this for evil deeds.
Yeah.
Like this should be the point where they say, this is no longer almost a neutral being that has been good for humanity and now is possibly bad. Now it is fully bad. So now
also, they're still, I mean, they're clearly, I mean, they haven't 100% written the ways off. I get that, but like they're at 95%. It's not like they're like, well, it's only like 5% evil. You can still go in there. They're like, no, don't go the fucking there.
I mean,
like, close the goddamn gates.
If you're the first landing right next to it, you can run there in like 25 minutes.
Also, if they took the leaves and then, like, say they took both the leaves off, like from the inside and then closed it and then took both the leaves off and walked over to their, like, you know, their hut and just like put it on a table. Is it broken forever? No, it's just you're just taking the key away from a locked door.
No, because they still have the talisman of growing, so they can always grow it.
That's another thing. They can always remake an entrance. So what's the problem?
Because it makes the plot. I'm kidding. No,
burn it to the ground. The beer is gone. Burn this shit to the ground.
So something I enjoyed in here, and maybe it's random and just my idiotic brain working on the words, but
idiot.
when they close the Waygate, when they close the Waygate, there's a sentence in here that just makes me laugh, and for the dumbest reasons.
The Wayne Gate leads into the Batcave.
No, it says had Bane somehow. The Wayne Gate. Yeah, Batman has like a bunch of Waygates that are just like big. Instead of like the leaf, it's like a bat symbol, and you have to like pull the bat.
Of course, he's got to brand it. He has to brand everything.
He does brand it. He's very on brand. You can tell he's a businessman.
He's very on brand.
But so in the book, it's like, had Fane somehow ordered the Black Wind, and for some reason, I always thought that sounded like he was at a restaurant and he didn't like what Fane had ordered.
Did he order this?
Like, it's like they're at a gas station and he asked for the sushi. It's like, did you really order the Black Wind?
You know it. It did not sit well with your stomach, and now we all perish.
It's such a dumb joke, but it's making me laugh so hard right now.
I was like reading it. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. I'm sitting there reading it. I'm like, that's so fucking stupid. I'm definitely gonna bring it up.
But I love it.
Did Fane somehow order the Clams Casino?
You get
it did strike me as like worded kind of oddly. Like, did he order
I do love when they open the gate and Rand's just like staring at it, and the second it gets like 1 inch open, he's like, close it. No. Just instant. Baron's like, what? Oh, all right. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you? It came out last time. I still don't believe that.
Yeah, that's wrong. And there was fire. Yeah, the fire is probably bad. No, I made it. Never mind. One thing that I meant to talk about earlier is like, I love the, I guess, trichotomy of how loyal is described. Because like one part that's important about this chapter is this, or the last two chapters, is they're trying to keep loyal. Loyal, of course, does not want to stay there because while he wants to lose his virginity, which is emblematic of Aerith leaving him a flower, he doesn't want to do it now, or doesn't want to be bogged down. Like, he wants to get laid, but he doesn't want to spend time doing it, which, you know, one empathizes.
He puts that flower in that book because he wants to save that pussy for later.
It's exactly what that means. But he's smelling.
I thought it was because he wanted to flatten that pussy.
I love that.
that.
Joe, do you have one?
I do not.
That's fucking delightful.
What else is left? Is he gonna hang it upside down and dry it?
Oh, Jesus, I don't even know what that means. That was the best one.
So, what I was gonna say, fuck me, I love it. Fuck, give me a second. This the trichotomy.
No, your second's over.
So like Rand says, like, we need loyal. Perrin says he's our friend, and then Matt's just kind of like, not annoying, like, just though, like, real.
I guess he's my friend.
Describe him like we need him. He's gonna help us. Parent, he's a good friend. He gives me
Actually,
good advice.
I completely forgot about this. I didn't even like write it down as a thing to remember. But Tom said 10 years ago, he's like, I love how Inker's like, well, I don't know if we need him. Like, no, it is fucking the funniest thing Inktar says in this scene. Is like, well, I don't know about need, but sure. I mean, if he wants to come, he should come along.
Welcome.
He's pretty big.
We need him.
Yeah, he's a big guy, I guess.
That language.
Needs a strong word.
Right. I am still in love with the flower thing.
The idea that the black wind, so one of the elders says like the black wind hungers, perhaps, like she's like just theorizing, but she's like, maybe it's just fucking, it's been a long time, maybe it's fucking hungry and it's just gonna hang out at every gate. And I'm like, I know we know that it's basically because of Rand and he's kind of a magnet for it at this point, but like, how fucking horrifying, because a lot of Trollocs have been moving through there aside from just Moraine and party. Like, maybe it has just been eating a lot and it's like, holy fuck, you know, if we hang out by these doors, we'll just get fed like all the time.
Finally figured it out.
like that's all we have to do.
Thousands of years, and we finally figured out where the food is.
It's constantly roaming around in the void. It's like, first of all,
it's just
stick
like,
to the
what
bridges.
The fuck am I doing?
Stay near the doors.
Yeah, sticking to the bridges was like the first 800 years of its existence.
Yeah, and then I got bored because it was like,
if we
the bridges might as well be empty.
So as Trolloc Talk mentioned, apparently, by the way, there's these things called portal stones.
Yeah.
Weirdest shit in the whole series. Just
I like how Rand's like, why would Fane stop me if he asked me to follow him? It's very strange. The clear answer is that Fane didn't like give the Black Wind orders where our previous thoughts were right.
Also, he just wants you to die, though. Like, he wouldn't be upset if he just fucking died.
No, but he wants to kill him. He doesn't. Yeah, he's like a classic villain that has to kill him himself. He just died on the way to see me.
It is. The portal stones are strange where it's like, all right, we have the ways for like fast travel. And then later he's like, no, we need faster travel. We'll do traveling. And in the middle, he made portal stones and just abandoned it. And I'm like, with that, you can travel through time, space, and other dimensions.
Right.
Yeah. Like, you'd think that would be like, Rand basically gets to the point where he can scan and or travel. And he just like completely forgets the portal stones. I'm like, I don't think you understand. You had other worlds to go to. Like,
I mean,
I understand there's a lot going on here, but like, why the fuck?
If Brandon Sanderson had written this and then this came up while Brandon Sanderson was writing this, there'd be 3 more series. Just the portal stones.
I gotta be honest.
Portal Stone Travelers, 12 book series of just.
I had that exact thought when I was listening to this chapter, and it was literally about the elders' discussion. Because later on, when they do go talk about like Loyal goes to address the stump, it takes all 3 of the Sanderson books for him to discuss what the Ogier are supposed to be doing in the last battle. And I was like, which is very reminiscent of like the Lord of the Rings and the trees and whatnot, but what are the Ents? And then, but which is kind of what these characters are. But at the same time, Robert Jordan wrote the same kind of scenario into this very book, and it took 1 chapter for them to be like, well, we're upset about it, but I guess we're gonna let you use the ways. And I was like, motherfucker, it's Brandon Sanderson. He made the last book so much longer.
But honestly, I love Trolloc Talk's idea, though, of again, I both love and I don't hate, because like Brandon Sanderson is one of my top 5 authors of all time. But at the same time, I sometimes goddamn hate the guy because he's so Brandon Sanderson. Like he found Brandon Sanderson essence, which may have just been dried cum, and sniffed it, and could not stop being Brandon Sanderson. And
with Susan Sarandon's labia.
Yeah, which was filled with Brandon Sanderson.
He's totally prolific, and every little idea he has is going to get super developed.
Which is not always the best thing.
Could you imagine like Trolloc Talk, like you said, like you could fucking make a million fucking weird ass novels about what happened when Brandon Sanderson wrote. Like, it's just like he's probably.
That's what Harriet should do when she wants like another couple millions of dollars. Like she'll just be like, instead of like letting them fuck up this world, she should just be like, Just have Portal Stone worlds, and all these authors can just come in and write guest books for Portal Stone worlds, and just
take
go
one.
Crazy.
Yeah, just take one character from this series.
Yeah,
send them through a portal stone to another dimension and write a whole new book. Also, what if instead of the end of the book of Rand versus the Dark One, it was 100 Rands versus the Dark One from other dimensions?
Yes. Think of the culmination of things that he could do. He could go to infinite amount of worlds on the Portal Stone. Well, not infinite. There's only so many symbols.
That's what it is. It's the beginning of book 4. You know, when they all go through the mirror.
Yeah.
That's what Rand sends them. Is
all the little Rands running around?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the bubble of evil?
I still love the idea that there's at least one of those like made it out, and he's still.
I know, just around. Like running around. Yeah, he hid like by the bedpost and was like. Yeah. And like 3 days later, he made it to the door.
And he thinks he's the real one.
Yeah.
It's like this is fucked
Let's
up.
revisit that idea.
Save the world.
Let's all remember this. We won't. And revisit that in book 4. Anyway, what the fuck else happens in this chapter? Nothing. They go to the Portal Stone.
They decide to go to the Portal Stones, and then they out.
Yeah.
I like Rand's self-bargaining of like, well, it's just I just have to smoke crack like 2 more times. Once to get us there and once to get us back. I'm not an addict.
Anyone else got a better joke to end it on besides
no, I got nothing.
Joke?
I got nothing.
Rand smoking crack.
It feels like dark again.
Feels like a good moment.
Is that dark?
That's
delightful.
So that's tWoTcast for this week. If you have any comments or questions or drug habits, the best way to find us is on Twitter at tWoTcast.
Listen wherever you get your podcasts. You can email us at twatcast@gmail.com.
We're on Patreon way more often than we used to be at patreon.com/twatcast. If you enjoy the show, help us out and give us all of your money and enjoy exclusive content only on Patreon, but only for all of your money.
Only all of your money, of course, not just like $1.
Yeah, if you give us some of your money, you don't get to listen to shit.
tWoTcast theme songs brought to you by Taffy Bennington at Sing with Taffy on Twitter and Anarchy 101 on YouTube. And also everyone's favorite musician, I've slurred all of these words, on Twitter of Time, #Twitter of Time, Androl Ganhold on Twitter and Androl Bard of Time on YouTube.
Join us next week for The Wheel of Time. We'll be talking about The Great Hunt, Part 12.
No.
What?
No.
What?
Well, you gotta say thank you to our guest and tell him to plug his things, which is just Twitter apparently.
So I'm Trolloc Talk, and I can be found on Twitter at Trolloc Talk. And I haven't posted in a very long time, but that's because I had a kid. Today he ate a penny, and hopefully I'll get back on Twitter awfully soon.
Hey, Trolloc Talk, thanks for making that gold coin guzzling joke I made way earlier in the podcast. Makes sense just now.
It totally comes together. See, you had to wait to the end to get the payoff. I'm inspired. It's been great to be on with you guys again, and I think I'll probably start tweeting again soon.
Well, let's stop a bit, talk about the fact that you have been just kind of an utterly delightful Trolloc Talker on
Twitter for God knows how long. And who cares if he fades out for years at a time? We've done the same thing.
Yeah, we took off, 3 or 4 different summers because we've been doing this for 10 and a half years, which is...
Sometimes summer was like spring to fall with just a little bit...
We saw that Monty Python, the Holy Grail, and we're like, wow, that's a really good idea. It's easy to know what to do.
Yeah, my hiatus is not permanent. I'm just kind of bleary-eyed and a little bit tired. You think human kids are bad? Just check out a Trolloc child and try and think of what it's like.
I can't even imagine.
Tell us what that did to a female Trolloc's, perineum.
Well, we don't know what kind of Trolloc it was, Jono, and he hasn't revealed that. But if it was a bird-faced Trolloc, I feel like it wouldn't have been that bad. But maybe something with horns, horrible.
Just see
I feel like we just need to leave it at that. I don't even want to get into more details from mine.
I mean, it could be somewhere in between.
I still want flying monkey Trollocs, just a whole regiment.
Maybe he's a wolf-faced Trolloc. Flying monkey Trollocs would be amazing.
Yeah.
There's no monkeys in the Wheel of Time
for that.
It's my dream. Like I said, fringe taxidermy, baby.
What if like Asmodee just had like weird fetishes with like small animals too? That were just like kind of like, I like the grasshopper, the praying mantis, but it's only 3 inches long.
Do you think there's monkeys in Shan-Chan or Shara? Because there's no monkeys.
That would be scarier.
Yes. Sean,
Would he be more terrified of a chipmunk, Trolloc?
It's like a giant,
just 2 gigantic flat front teeth, like the size of your skull, sharp, just chopping bodies in half.
Just like one.
Holy shit!
Guillotine.
That's why I hate Asmodee and his lack of imagination.
Yeah, could have done so much more.
Walrus Trolloc is just kind of hanging out there at the north. But beautiful.
Agonor, yeah, not Asmodee. Asmodee is just fucking around playing a harp.
I feel like there should have been more reptile Trollocs too. But then I guess he stayed away from that because of the Grolm and stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe they tried that once and they were like, shit, this thing has 3 eyes. We're out.
Hey, all right, I'll make a note. Next time Trolloc talks on the episode, let's discuss all the different kinds of Trollocs there could and should have been.
We'll just have it narrated by Sir. Who does the nature movies? Sir
Steve Zissou. That's who you're thinking of.
Yeah, Sir Steve.
Jono, say join us next week. Fuck.
Join us next week. Great hunt. Sorry. Part 12, covering chapters 37 minus 40. I'm Jono. You can listen to Joe.
Keep changing filthy animals.
Plus Tom.
Still your math.
Minus yourself.
Say goodbye, Trolloc Talk.
Yeah, y'all are tasty when I cook you up. Later.
Among the first to start, the tWoTcast was so smart to lovingly bash our favorite books. But that was long ago, and now they've grown the show, and now they got us in their hooks. Don't throw coins to these bastards, they need bars of gold at least. Someone please keep them afloat. Now let's listen as they once again ramble through a book. Let's get the fucking quote. One of them is Tom, but he is barely on. Sometimes he calls into the show. Another one is Jono. Is he their joker? Oh no. And Joe, is he the stupid one? Welcome to the tWoTcast. We will share our love for books and all our hate in every episode. We'll entertain you, make you laugh so hard you barely can stand up. That is the tWoTcast